They hail from around the globe, and though separated by oceans, they gather in the virtual world for reasons as varied as their locales. Whether it's a defending champion looking to retain his title, a new and eager hopeful striving for recognition, or a legend prepared to recapture past glory, in the end, the one goal they all share is to win. But when naming a victor, only one driver's name can be etched into the record books. You're watching the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour.
The year may be new, however the track today is not one you typically know or see these days. Many a tale has been told from here, but in the real world, no more are these tales told. But, like a ghost of races past, the souls of the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour will be wary of Oran Park's influence on iRacing Live and the global SimRacing channel as we go for the Asbury Motorsport Australian Ghost Run. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tidal Influence Countdown to Green in a series that has been more gripping to listen to than a camp story at midnight. I am your camp leader, though, Mr. Hashtag Do You Mind himself, Jake Sperry, taking the microphone in the dark paddock. Joining me, though, like the child who ate too much cheese before bed, Bill Soup Zahn, and hopefully he will be having no nightmares in store. Joe Peak shall be scanning the track for any lost spirits as he is producing the cameras created by Dougie Beard, the former owner of the campsite. But Soup, this is the Ghost Run, a circuit fabled for being narrow and amusing to watch, acceleration normally better than top speed. However, while some drivers need to get spooky, scary skeletons out of their closet, some others may have to suck their thumb and call for mum or pops.
Why was this event not scheduled at the end of October? I got goosebumps right now. Hey, before I get into talking about the track, let me remind everybody that everything on the Countdown to Green is brought to you thanks to Tidal Influence, an ecological consulting firm based in Long Beach, California, that restores wetlands, saves and studies endangered species, and educates children about our environment. For more information, go to TidalInfluence.com. Okay, here we go. Located in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, Oran Park opened in 1962 and operated continuously until it surrendered to the bulldozer in 2010. But thanks to the magic of iRacing's virtual universe, the track survives. iRacing offers 6 configurations, but today we are on the Grand Prix layout that during its 47 years in the real world hosted the Australian Grand Prix twice in 74 and 77. There are 12 turns squeezed into 2.6 kilometers, that's about 1.6 miles of distance, that features a figure 8 shape with a bridge where the track crosses over itself. But to get an idea of what this place is really like, let's answer the phone and join Neo and Morpheus in the iRacing Matrix for a lap around Oran Park.
Alright, we're in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Oran Park. Coming down to turn 1, passes into here will be very tricky. There's just a little lift through this kink, and then the real braking is down into turn 2. That won't mean drivers aren't going to try it, but expect some fireworks when someone bites off more than they can chew. From out of there, you'll drift across toward the left and set up for 3. The gearing for this right-hander is a little awkward, and it's a lot tighter than you would expect. The temptation to get on the gas too soon will be great, and you'll see a few people wind up using those little go-kart pits as some runoff room. Then comes 4 and 5, which pretty much act as one continuous arc. Treat it like a very long corner with an early apex. That leads into the crossover bridge, where it kind of becomes a blind turn, since you'll be steering into the apex almost as soon as you enter the overpass. It's not quite flat out through 6, and then you're rowing it up for 7 and 8. This quick chicane isn't very difficult, but the tough part comes when you blend right into the braking for 9. This is another blind rise, and you're not going to see your exit until you've already flown through the corner. No time to rest, because next is the 10-11 chicane. Just like the last turn, you're going on memory because there's no way to tell exactly where the edges of the track will be until you're there. Finally, there's 12. Try not to turn in too early, and then be careful on the power coming out of there. It's like a street course with that wall to the right, and if you get snappy loose, expect to pay for it in bodywork. but hopefully you've now finished a lap around Oran Park.
The GSRC MX-5 there taking a visit to Oran Park, and to what happened to that vehicle, some will never know. But Soup, with much more class than Logan Paul, dead bodies being filmed is not on the agenda, but more rather the slow death of everyone's championship hopes.
Yeah, you may think so, but I got stuff to talk about. These points are still going to be exciting. Hey, having won 7 out of 9 races, Sonny Catch Me If You Can't has a 161-point lead. Now, if a driver has a lead of 151 points going into the double distance, double points grand finale, they, like Sonny for most of season 14, will be uncatchable. But don't expect Canchin to take the finale off, because he is still just 3 races away from a perfect Ironman season. That means completing every lap of every race, a feat done just once in the 13 previous seasons by Patrick Fliss, earning that driver the nickname the Slovene Machine. That 161-point margin lead means that today's race and the penultimate event at Zandvoort will be the only chances for the Roland Estonian Errol Num to close the gap. Robert Hartley has a win this season, but no championship hopes. He is also out of no-show compensation. This will give the aforementioned Patrick Fliss a real chance to move into the season-ending podium spot. Travis Swenke, 3rd place last time out at Brands Hatch, was his best result of the season, bumping him up 3 spots. Dore Success pushes the Bay State Hammer Tom Ratchie to the right side of the graphic. Now, 39 points separate the top 2 rookies. That honor has been swapped all season long between Richard Moneyworth and Tom Eric the Red Vol. For Nick Thiessen, his last 3 results have been his best 3 results, so he makes his overlay debut today. Hello, Nick. And Brian Holmes rounds out the graphic. Let's go to the AM Championship, where Gianni Quintilier sits 14th in the overall standings, with Kip Hairflick Stevens right behind him. Points are a little tougher to come by here in the AM Championship, so that 19-point interval between those two is more formidable than it looks. Lauren Murray and Michael Wright are tied for the final podium spot. Murray sits seconds in the mile per incident chart behind my old boothmate, Richard Losper. Derek Holland falls to 5th. Joe McDonald tops the right side and is still in the hunt for the MPI championship, sitting in 3rd. So, Jake, the overall championship might be a runaway, but there's still plenty of drama with Canchin chases a perfect Ironman season, Quintilier and Stevens fight for that AM crown, and Richard Losper tries to stay clean at the top of the MPI chart. Jake?
Yeah, he certainly does. Canchin may need to be cautious today. Quintilier can't afford to quit, but they are all standing and fighting because we have rules. There's always a well suit, even at this campsite, and we just keep visiting it.
Quintilier can't afford to quit. I love working with you. You just slip them in there. Okay, for new viewers, here we go. For old viewers, go ahead and go to the refrigerator and grab yourself a snack. This is round 10 of 12. There are no drop races, but of course there is that weird thing called no-show compensation. If you miss a race, you get an average of your events that you've raced in. You get to use it 3 times. Setups, they're open with reduced fuel cells. That doesn't mean you start with a light fuel load. That means the little tank that has is really small. You have to drive around far enough for that thing to empty before you can put in enough fuel to finish the race. We figure with 37 laps that we're going today, look for the pit window to be around 13 to 26. Now, here's what's interesting. You can take 2 tires for free while they're filling up your tank. It doesn't cost you any time to take 2 tires. But since this is a figure 8, do you take them on the left side? Do you take them on the right side? We'll see how that plays out. I don't know. I would think still left sides might be the way to go. Right sides might be the way to go if I was going here. The MWT has always been a no fast repair series. You break it, you bought it. And there is no incident cap, but we talked about it before. That miles per incident chart gives you bonus points. All right.
Yeah, it certainly gives you bonus points. Qualifying currently underway at Oran Park. 10 minutes, 2 laps. And with a short lap, a lot of drivers are already on their second laps looking to try and make something happen. Derek Holland in the 80 machine looking to round the final corner. That long turn, number 12, very iconic in the fact that it is probably one of the most unique corners, or was one of the most unique corners in sim racing. And now you look at it right now, 1:15.9. It puts in position 15 overall, and that's going to be crucial here for the championship for the amateurs because there are a lot less people here today, only 23 or 24 Soup. That's going to mean a lot more points are on the table for drivers.
Yeah, now you score 100 for a win, 25 for last place, but it's rationed out. So that means that even those amateurs that are used to scoring at the back of the field are still going to score a little bit more if they can work their way up. Hey, a couple things. In season 9 was the last time these guys were been here. Here's some results from that race. How about these names that are not with us anymore? Sergio Mora, Amjad Yaman, Yuris Jalenko, Dexter Castro, and John Dusal. And a couple names to talk about. Dexter Castro's been in the Forum. He's the only driver who has raced in at least once in each of the previous 13 seasons. He's trying to get one more race in this season to keep that streak going. We haven't seen him yet. And how about John Deuce Allen? He's a MWT veteran. Man, that guy really performed well. And what is that thing called? That is the Mazda Drive to the 24 shootout, something like that. Got a lot of 24? Yeah, the Road to 24. Got a lot of great press for that. Congratulations, John. Good to see one of our own doing well.
And a great time from Richard Worth, who moves up to the front row, 113.636, 2 tenths behind Sonny Kanchin on pole position as things stand at this stage. But it's going to be about now getting those qualifying laps in. Also on qualifying laps, Jacob Tofts is one of those drivers. Jeroen Ursum is the other as he looks to finish his first lap with a 1:17.2. 22nd out of 22. Dead last at the moment for Jeroen Ursum, but he'll be looking to try and go a little bit better. Final chance, though, for Richard Worth up over the Yokohama Bridge.
You're a Jeroen Ursum fan. As we look at Richard Worth, the top rookie, check in a couple hours here when GSRC is going to cover the SCC race where Jeroen Ursum is out there racing the MX-5, scoring podiums left and right in that series. Yeah, there's only a handful of drivers showing up in the class, but nevertheless, a podium is a podium. How about Richard Worth? He is our top rookie. Now, I don't see that Tom Vall is not here today, so there's an opportunity for Richard to put a little distance between him and his rookie competitor.
Yes, it is, and he's backed out of this second lap, so he will not go any quicker. To Jacob Tofts, though, in the 1:16 machine. P17 right now is a very good qualifying effort from him, but he wants just that little bit more. 2 tenths of a second gives him a jump over the hair flick Kip Stevens, who is in that championship fight. You can see he's running that pit entrance all the way to the line. He goes, and he finishes with a 1:15.528. He's quicker. He's fractionally quicker by only a few hundredths of a second. Not good enough as Ursum goes for a spin at the final corner. I believe that is everybody out on track, done and dusted. So what we can do right now is go through the Heusinkveld starting grid. Heusinkveld offers a broad array of products and services, including advanced simulation software and hardware, and sponsors on practically every major team in sim racing today. If you're looking for an edge in racing, get in touch today at heusinkveld.com. And it's a shorter little grid that we got to deal with today, but it's a very, very accomplished one. Sonny Kanchin, pole position, 113.455. He is 2 tenths clear of Richard Worth in second position and Eero Nom in third overall. Travis Schwenke, Dory for Asbury Motorsports will start from fourth, with leading amateur Gianni Quintelier, perfect for the championship he needs, in fifth, with the Bay State Hammer Tom Ratji in sixth position. Stephen Van Opstal will start from 7th with the Scotsman, Lorne Murray in 8th. Jordi Fike will start 9th, and Bambi, Neil Bamba, starts from 10th.
In 11th position is the Japanese driver Atsushi Maeda. Then we got the man who needs to buy a vowel, Rafael Drazis, in the 11th spot. Jupp Vilmanson, boy, that's struggling through 3 of these. Come on, in the Baker says the spot. Give me an easy one. How about Gene Must Finish Fittest back there in 14th? Sarah Dove, good to see her coming over from the AOR, joining us again. Kip Stevens, remember he's in that battle for the AM Championship. He's got a long way to go to get up to Quintelier, who qualified 5th. Newcomer, Jacob Tufts, welcome to the series. I believe making his debut event today, ahead of Max Wright. Derek Holland in the 19th spot. Old Joel McDonald down there in 20th. And I'll take these last two. George Dankirk and Jeroen Ursum in the double duck spot.
In the double duck, so half a minute then before the lap times then are put in and are finalised. Joe McDonald just getting some last minute practice, just running around the circuit. He's got enough fuel in his vehicle. He will be going and doing that in his 831 machines. He now heads at the bottom of the hill, looking to make this rise up towards this beautiful Yokohama Bridge, which then flicks straight right as you then head on to what is the south side of the circuit that we have going on. But that will be officially qualifying over. The race will now look to grid up. And this is going to be an interesting one because Oran, he knows that he's got to take points out of Kanchin. A lot of points, and arguably at this stage, with Sonny Kanchin still having some form of compensation points in play, he's got to make sure that Sonny Kanchin does not finish this race, or his championship may be as good as gone at this stage. But you never know as you look at the drivers looking to grid themselves up. The Bay State Hammer is on the left-hand side in the 6th position overall. And you see in 3rd position overall on the right-hand side, Oran and Sonny Kanchin. That's going to be crucial because the inside line here is going to be the one that we look at towards turn number 1. And Richard Worth, well, he may have a money shot down into turn number 1. Of course, that amateur category championship, that's worth keeping an eye out on as well. Kip the Hairflick Stevens in 16th. His rival is up in 5th position. That's a massive gap of 11 positions, which I don't see Stevens looking to take away, but I do see Quintelier needing to keep this one on the straight and narrow. But as we know here in MWT, nothing is secure, nothing is safe, and most certainly nothing is guaranteed indeed. Just waiting for the final few vehicles then to get up onto the starting grid, waiting for Max Wright, and that is it so far when it comes to who we are looking at. And he's got another 30 seconds before he needs to put himself up on that scenario, up on that grid. And well, there he goes, straight up on. So the engine notes in just a couple of moments will look to start to rise for what is the 3rd to last race. Here are those engine notes. Let's get 37 laps in the book. Oran Park, the ghost run begins. And it's a very accomplished start by Sonny Kanchin, who instantly moves hard down to the inside to try and cover Richard Worth. The gaps they're showing as side by side for position number 4. We see Schwenke and Quintelier going at it as they make the small kink through 1 and into 2. Behind that, Van Opstal and what is going to be Tom Ratji going side by side for a little bit as they all look to fight in. Nope, we got trouble. 1 around, 2 around. They sort themselves out into the corner.
Maeda.
Fight, and Maeda getting involved in that one as well there, Sue.
Maeda tried to do it on the top side. He tried to take it wide onto the grass. The car got loose. It looped around back to the left, right in front of everybody. Not a lot of contact. I think everyone's going to be able to keep going.
And that's one of the characteristics of this circuit, is that it doesn't necessarily deal with the top speeds very much there, especially on that opening lap. It's a very technical circuit. You deal with a lot of braking and momentum changing here at the circuit of Oran Park, and that's something that is sometimes missing quite a bit from a lot of circuits.
Other than that incident now the drivers have all single file. They've all spread out a little bit in this relatively small field for this series.
Yeah, a relatively small field here. It was 22. It's now 2 vehicles out, so we're down to 20 overall as Kanchin leads. Worth in 2nd, Nom in 3rd, Schwenke 4th. Then it's Quintelier, Ratji, Van Opstal, Murray. No real changes then from the front 8. Neil Bamber up into 9th position. And one of the bigger movers then is Rafał Drzasz. They're in from 12th to 10th plus 2. Behind that though, Gene Finnis, and Sonny Kanchin running into issues there in the 59. He's around, and we were talking about that. He wants to be that man who gets himself Ironman status. That's a spin. That is a self-spin. That is him getting that spin, but no contact, very crucially.
He makes that spin, but I think it's okay, and he's had plenty of time to make up the pace. As that's going on, Max Wright has just put it in the wall. Also, the right side, he pancakes it. In fact, I think his done is done. Let's look at Sonny's spin right now.
Yeah, replay then of Sonny's spin up on screen then here on the GSRC replay. And it's just as simple as getting caught up onto the grass. We'll get a better look of it then from this camera angle. And you can see he gets a very good run. He heads himself into turn number 1. And when he's hitting that break into turn number 2, he's just tracking out a little bit too much there. You can see 2 tyres on the gravel, on the dirt. That's enough for the Asbury Motorsport machine to be turned around.
He falls down to 8th. What happens on that, you get those right sides off there. They don't slow down. The left sides will have good grip on the pavement. That's why the car swings around like that. He cycles in front of Bambi and Rafał Drzasz and Gene Finnis.
Well, and Gene Finnis, the point I was trying to make, maybe a David Bowie found, because the Genie keeps on going on. So for Gene Finnis, he looks to try and find a way then past Neil Bamber. Not close enough for the moment, but eyes to the front though, because now Oran has to get past Richard Worth. He's got to get on the move here because Schwenke's going to wait for the perfect opportunity. And now you feel Richard Worth has got to prove his money at the front of the field, waiting for a first win of the season.
Yeah, with apologies to the friends and family of Richard Worth, he's a rookie, and he has driven like a rookie this season. And I'm not so sure how confident Errol Num is. I got a hunch he'll be happy when he's around him and has Worth in his rearview mirror.
Well, you can certainly say that Richard Worth has lost pace. He runs very wide coming out of the right-hander of turn number 8, or the left-hander of turn 8, shall I say. But Richard Worth has had the pace, but maybe hasn't had the tactical expertise to really capitalise on the pace that he's got. But at the front, that's probably the easiest way to win a race, is to try and break away from everybody else. As Lord Murray now side by side with Sonny Canchin as they go down the front stretch. And Lord Murray just was all out of shape coming out of the exit of the corner, really straight lined it as he just starts to lose the back end. And Sonny Canchin gets what I'd call here, Soup, a gift into position number 7. A late Christmas present from Lord Murray.
Maybe we can go back and take a look at the Atsui incident that happened on the first lap. Now watch him. He's making the move. He's way out in the grass. Then he loops the car around and he comes in. The first car he makes contact with, that is Jordy Fike.
Yeah, Jordy Fike, very much an innocent bystander as Maeda tried desperately to try and slow that vehicle down. It is very difficult when you're out in that sort of dirt and gravelly sort of area, but Atsushi Maeda then out of this event. Jordy Fike, though, keeps going, and Jordy Fike is the last vehicle scored on the leading lap, currently 50 seconds off of your race leader as things stand. And already there's a little bit of traffic here as Max Wright, who we said pancaked the wall earlier on, well, Worth, Nom and Schwenke, they'll have to be dealing with that very soon. But now we've got some Asbury teammates battling as well as Sonny Canchin deals with the Bay State Hammer of Tom Ratji. That's going to be crucial. Will there be team orders? Because look at this, straight to the inside goes the driver of Sonny Canchin, and I think that the Bay State Hammer isn't going to stay in his way for too long.
Quickly, a few other incidents that we didn't get on camera. Joe McDonald got into it with the newcomer of Jacob Tuff. McDonald continues. Also, Sarah Dove had a solo spin. She put it off in the grass, didn't hit anything. She's still back out there racing.
And we still have battles the likes of which in the amateur category, Willemsen, Stevens and Holland all together. And Kip Stevens, but he's driven by consistency, but consistency will not do anything against the 4th place Gianni Quintelier, who is 3 seconds off the lead in comparison. Kip is 9 seconds behind his amateur category compatriot, well, not necessarily compatriot, but amateur category rival, shall we say, in this season. And well, that's a vehicle going off, and that's Max Wright, because he is trying to let through all the lap traffic. And sometimes it doesn't have to be pretty to let through lap traffic, but it sure is effective the way he's doing it there.
That'll do it. Get in there, get a little whiff of the Australian alfalfa out there as this car rides on the grass. I've been there. That's a good way to do it, Max. Trying to put in those miles. Hey, the driver to keep an eye on in the AM Championship. Let's quickly go to the driver in 5th. This is Stephen Van Opstrow. He hasn't been around for the last few races. He had an early start. This guy is good. And right now he tries to run down the Quintelier, who's out in front of him, by about 2 seconds.
Yes, but the difference is that he was 0.8 of a second slower on that last lap. And Sonny Canchin behind him was a full 0.9 of a second quicker on that last lap. So Van Opstal is going in one direction right now, Soup, and that direction happens to be backwards.
I'll tell you where a lot of the drivers are having trouble, and that is out of the final corners. They head onto the main straight. The cars are getting loose, and they are, time after time, they're getting a Darlington stripe as they're pancaking that car against that retaining wall that is really close on corner exit out of 12. We'll watch that as the race goes on.
Well, it's worth talking about here because we got a northwesterly wind of 16 kilometers an hour. Track temperatures down at just 27 degrees, and there's not much here at this circuit that stops the wind from whistling through as you head from north to south, and especially at a 180-degree corner, such is that final corner at Oran Park, or 120 degrees, shall I say. That wind really does ramp up and almost try and pick the vehicle up off of that section. You've got to be really careful when you go through that section as Neil Bamber runs very wide, and that's going to allow Fiddis an opportunity. And well, Gene Fiddis will go to the inside. The draft definitely helping from the driver of Lord Murray, and that is Lord Murray being slow, maybe slow down penalty potentially, and that is 2 positions straight through Lord Murray in issues.
Not sure where he picked up his slowdown penalty. It looked like he was clean. But he certainly got passed by Bamber and Fittis as they go by Fittis now up into 8th.
And maybe the final chicane. It's very easy to be aggressive at that final chicane there, Soup, but that may be the only place where it could have happened.
But he was able to get the car out of the way without an issue. We were riding on board there for a minute while we were looking at that with Errol Num. This is interesting. Maybe we'll back up and see what Errol might be up to here. He's notorious for sitting back and saving fuel. I gotta wonder, though, if he isn't worried, somehow trying to scroll back through his F3 box to see just where Sonny Kanchin is. How far back is he between the two drivers? And I can give you that time right now. About 5.9 seconds between Num and Kanchin.
But the crucial thing is they are running identical lap times between them. So Sonny Kanchin is not closing down the leaders. He is closing down, though, Steven Van Opstal. And that's going to be crucial for Kanchin because that puts him back inside the top 5 after a rare mistake from the Australian driver. So Sonny Kanchin thinking about making that move, and you can see he's so much more efficient when he goes into turn number 1 and then into 2. He closes right back up to Van Opstal, a 14.3 that last time, another 0.3 of a second chopped off of it. Compare that to Worth and Nom, he took another 0.2 out of the race leaders, and both of them now starting to close in on Gianni Quintelier here, who is 1.5 seconds down the road. And Quintelier, with an amateur championship he's thinking about, will not be wanting to keep Sonny Kanchin behind him, I don't think. I think he wants no argy-bargy.
Those cars between Kanchin and the lead pack, and that would be Van Austro and Quintelier, it's good and bad. Yeah, he's got to get around them, but they're also stepping stones that he can suck behind and get fast laps and get on their tail and see if he can use them to pull himself back up to the lead right now. Unfortunately, he's stuck behind Van Austro. He's got to get around him quick for that to happen.
Yes, he does. And, well, Van Opstal is not going to be the easiest character to get past. Look at Travis Schwenke, though. He's going to start thinking about making this move on Iru Nom. He gets right up to the rear. Does he give him a bump draft? I think he does. Travis Schwenke is very happy to sit in position number 3, but both of them have to be careful that they don't fall outside the range of the driver of Richard Worth, as Iru Nom slightly starts to miss the apex there, gets away with it. Little bit of 2 tyres on the dirt on the outside, but no real harm, no real foul. Kanchin through, though, up into position number 5. That is about as easy as you could possibly like it.
Here he comes. And talking about our leader, Richard Worth, as far as I know, he's not really signed up with any teams. He's out there racing in a Canada-flavored car. Nice to see that. But we have behind him, you have Errol Nunn, of course, Bushfink racer, and then Travis Schwenke for Asbury.
And that's going to be crucial because Travis Schwenke's role is going to be annoy Iru Nom as much as possible to bring back Sonny Kanchin into play. And that is what Asbury Motorsports has done very well over the years. It has been that they are very good at playing the team game and having so many great drivers up at the top of the MWT. It means that they normally tend to have the stranglehold.
Scrolling back a little bit, see if we can give a little love to some of the drivers we haven't talked much about. How about 12th position real quick? Can we talk about Juke Vilmanson? He's ahead of a nice battle. Let's look at Kip Stevens in 13th. Stevens being challenged by Derek Holland. Holland, a veteran of the series, trying to get around. Stevens a little bit off pace, as you can see them negotiate. That's the corner I was talking about, where you slam it in the wall. The STP car, the number 43 car, is going to be passed. Holland moves up to 13. Move our amateur hopeful down at 14th.
Yeah, that's a shame for Kip Stevens there, loses the position, but he knows he'll fight for that another day at this circuit. He knows he's got a big gap to the drivers behind, so he won't be too fussed about what is happening at this stage. Eye, though, to Quintelier, because on that last lap here, on lap 9 of the event, which they just did, he was caught by 0.8 of a second. So Quintelier not being able to stay consistent in comparison to Sonny Kanchin, and that's going to be a worry here because Nom's going to see Kanchin's closing in on Quintelier. The moment he gets past, well, he'll be chasing down Travis Schwenke as quickly as we can. And we know that in the pit stop window, Kanchin is the quickest, or one of the quickest, when it comes to being on and off of that lane.
All this going on behind the 3 guys. If we look at Quintelier in 4th, remember he's fighting for that amateur. The 3 guys up in front, Worth, Num, and Schwenke, just putting in a nice, well, I guess in Australia it would be Sunday afternoon.
Yes, it certainly would be, but look at this. Sonny Kanchin then starting to make the move on Quintelier, and Quintelier had nothing to argue with. In fact, no, he tried to come back at him, but he had to check out of it there because Sonny Kanchin was still there on the inside. He's looking for that outside, and Kanchin got caught up on the curb, a little bit hung up, and Quintelier didn't know which way he had to turn.
I'm Gianni. I just try to get my racing line, stick on the back, see if I can let Ketchum pull me up to the front. But there's Van Opstra right behind him. Those are your top amateurs, Quintelier and Van Opstra. They race 5th and 6th overall, 1st and 2nd in class.
Eye though to Lord Murray in the 69 machine. He's looking to get past Neil Bamber, but Bamber's got a bit of help from Gene Fiddis behind that. The man with a million consonants who would make Scrabble players very happy if his name was spelt Rafael Drazas will look to try and get onto that train as well. And Lord Murray, the Scotsman, always a very astute driver. He knows what his capabilities are and he uses them to the best of his ability in every single race that he goes to. Looking at Neil Bamber, who runs a little bit wide, it's a very good scrap between the pair of them. Two very equal drivers in terms of pace.
Here's the deal with Lorne Murray. He sits 2nd in the miles per incident category. And with Richard Losper not here today, I think Richard has missed a lot of races. It's close for him not being eligible to win that championship. Murray has a chance to get to the top of the chart. That's worth 100 points. That's worth a race win. And especially down in the standings where Murray races in the points, 100 points will move you up several positions in the standings.
So what you're saying there, Soup, is that the 151 that Sonny Kanchin needs to win may not happen if the MPI comes into play for Irunom?
No, that's taken into account. No matter what happens, we know that going in. 151 going into that final event, you are safe.
Okay. No worries, no harm, no foul. So
nope. The follow-up on that, the MWT is really smart. They award all the bonus points after what is called the regular season race of 11. That way everything's handed out. Everybody goes into that grand finale knowing just where they stand.
Well, that is fantastic to see, a series that is very self-aware when it comes to it, as we're heading towards 15 minutes past then in this event. The lead hasn't really changed much, though. It's Wirth from Nom from Schwenke as they all attack that final corner, turn number 12, and look to set off for one more lap here. The pit stop window then very much considered open on lap 13. You can come in, you can get your fuel, and then you can get back going again. The gap, though, between the leader, Richard Wirth, and Sonny Kanchin, well, that sits at 6.4 seconds, so that's a long, long way for Sonny Kanchin to try and get back into this event. Still hounded, though, by Gianni Quintelier. Let's look further back, though, because we have battles galore going on. And what about this one? Sarah Dove against Jeroen Ursum. Dove's made it through on this lap.
This was a great one. It was McDonald and Ursum in this battle for the longest of time. Now, Sarah Dove is in there as well. She begins to distance herself away from the Dutch driver, trying to run down Joe McDonald. McDonald's also in the hunt for that clean driver championship as well. Good battle going on for 16th, 17th, and 18th.
I have to say, I have raced against Joe McDonald. I've been on the side of him when he has been a little bit more aggressive and forceful, but here he's being very tranquil and calm and doing a good job with what he needs to do, and staying in 16th position +4. That's going to be very useful for Joe McDonald because he knows that he'll be scoring some very vital points on his rivals. What about this, though? Willemsen versus Holland here. The amateurs going at it together. And right now, Derek Holland needs to feel that he's got to make this move. And you can see he tracks out very wide on the exit. Little bit of a wiggle. Gets away with murder there just a little bit. Willemsen, though, he is the epitome of serene as he heads into the final corner.
And right behind them, that's Stevens. He has to be thinking that those are some valuable points that he could pick up as Quintelier's having a great race. He doesn't want to let that AM championship get away from him. Willemsen up there racing in 11th though right now.
And the Bay State Hammer is in on the lane. Tom Ratji has decided to come down in and make that stop. And whilst this lane isn't necessarily a long lane, as he has to take a double take into the box, it is one of those lanes with a very slow pit limiter as the tyres go up. They are right sides going up on it, but is there going to be left sides? The answer is no. So Tom Ratji is going to be out and away. Only a 2-tyre call there, Sue.
I think that right side tire is probably the way to go. That's going to give you the advantage out of 12, which will give you some good exit speed down the long straight, also into the first sweeping left-handers of 1 and 2. Where you're going to pay the prices when you go through the crossover, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 are all left-handers that he's not going to be as fast at as somebody who takes them on the left side.
Here's a question. Should Travis Schwenke decide to get aggressive now, get past Nom and start harassing Worth so that he can bring back Sonny Kanchin back into this race?
Yeah, maybe Worth. I guess what he would have to do is get out in front and maybe slow down a little bit. That's not going to happen. I really worry about Worth being a rookie, how good his stop is going to be. Nobody is better than Errol Num. What is interesting is Schwenke is all over the back of Num right now. This is your best battle on the track. We tried to scroll through and look at battles where they are. These guys are the closest, but I'm not sure if they're the most aggressive.
No, they're playing the waiting game, which is sometimes the only game that you have to play here on lap 15 of 37, the Ghost Run. Well, it's been a very timid Ghost Run at the moment. Nobody's really had a spooky, scary moment, except maybe Sonny Kanchin, who may be a little bit spooked, but he's not quite shaken just yet. He's still got a lot of work to do as Quintelier versus Van Opstal still continues, but Van Opstal just about 0.6 of a second back, unable to really follow in the footsteps of Quintelier here, who seems to be just so good in this amateur category, and it's not been through having bad results. He's been arguably one of the most consistent drivers all season, and this is the best result to date for him.
We look at that battle for 5th and 6th. Now, between that battle and the leaders is Sonny Kanchin, and he is knocked off about a second to the tail end of Travis Schwenke in 3rd. Yeah, he's running out of time to get there, 22 laps to go, but he's a-coming.
Well, that lap time from Richard Worth was slower. It was a 15.2. Compare that to Kanchin. That was a 14.5, so 0.7 of a second got knocked off. The gap comes down. It's 5.5 seconds. So Richard Worth's consistency now comes into question. But if Travis Schwenke makes that move through, that puts Richard Worth in a whole lot of problems. If you go side by side for about 3 or 4 corners, a second goes away.
Well, this is where I got to think that Errol Num in 2nd has got to be seeing that, and he knows that Kanchin is there. I wonder, I think if Num felt he was faster, he would go ahead and get out in front and run some fast times.
Well, the question is, does he have enough drive to make that move?
Yeah.
Because he's dropped back on this lap here, maybe starting to struggle as he heads through 8, heading to 9 and, well, 10 and 11 right now. So that was turn 9 they just went through. Now heading up towards turn number 12, this banked left-hander which falls away on the exit, which makes it such a difficult corner. Gets a good run, but again, he's not going to be close enough at this stage. But the eye definitely is firmly on Sonny Kanchin, how much he can close down when he gets to this one. Schwenke doing a 15.1, 14.7, 14.8, and this one from Sonny Kanchin a 14.5. More times, in comes Quintelier to make his first stop of the day, and only stop of the day, hopefully, and the amateur leader decides to give Van Opstal a chance.
With Tom Ratchie, the leader of all the cars who have pitted, I think that Quintelier is going to be able to get out faster than Ratchie does. We'll see how he does on tires. Just to follow up on Errol Num, Num's a thinker. He also knows that even if he were to get around Worth, the pass alone is probably going to cost him some time. Probably not even worth it for Num to battle with Worth, because it'll probably cost him time on the track. Just wait for the pit stops, deal with it later. By the way, Quintelier took right sides as well.
Right side seemed to be the order of the day. He will get out and he will get away. And, well, he gets up onto the power, starts flicking it left. He has a little look at Jacob Tofts there, who's just behind, but he gets out firmly in front of the Bay State hammer, Tom Ratchie, and that will be very crucial. Holland versus Willemsen still, though, a battle going on. This one net 11th and 12th. Out on circuit as they head themselves through the lefts and rights. No harm, no foul between them. Nothing going on. But in comes Iru Nom. He's the first of the leaders to pit.
As Num comes as a follow-up on Holland, he is up 8 spots. How about that? 19th, well, to 12th right now, I guess. 11th, so that's 8 spots for him. Good job for him. Let's see how Num does as he brings it into his box. Arrow, a veteran, brings in that Busch Fink car. Should have no trouble finding his box. Let's see if he takes tires. Slides it in, and goes up on the right side as well.
Well, it seems that the right tyres are getting the most amount of abuse here. It's not surprising seeing that final corner be such a difficult factor, and most of the difficult corners out on this circuit being left-handers overall. And, well, Iru Nom out, Iru Nom away. Is he in clean air? The answer is yes. Joe Danker not going to be in the battle. Sarah Dove as well. And there's a lot of clean air in front of the hair flick, Kip Stevens. So no worries at all for that driver of Iru Nom. But right now, as we look at drivers coming out has come Stephen Van Opstal, and Van Opstal has been jumped by the Bay State Hammer, who runs wide, has a moment. Van Opstal goes in avoidance, almost into the barriers as he heads over to this next right-hander of turn number 3. The Bay State Hammer still has the inside line, and he holds on to it. That's good heads-up driving from the pair of them.
Follow up here on Bay State Hammer and Aero Num. Tom Ratchey was a half a second faster than Num in the box, but get this, Num was a half a second faster cone to cone. That means he got in quick.
Here we go. Schwenke was looking to the outside here of Richard Worth. He wants to give Worth a hiding, a battle. He's wanting to bring Kanchin in. All this helps Irunam if Travis Schwenke decides to start making moves here. And it was a 14.3 that last time by from Travis Schwenke. He has a turn of pace compared to the 15 flat of Richard Worth. So he's looking, Travis Schwenke thinking the pit stop window may be soon coming to a close. I've got to make some moves. Kanchin's brought the gap down to the leader to just 5 seconds overall, and that gap is closing all the time.
We're following the battle for 7th between Willemsen and Holland. Come out of turn 12 again. This time it caught Holland as the car went wide. Holland slammed it into the right side. He's still racing. Car's still going straight, but not as fast as it was before.
No, not as fast as it was before. Who decides to dive down onto the lane? There's a thought there from Schwenke, and Schwenke dives. Schwenke decides, I'm being held up. I've got to come in and pit. Kanchin will follow in swift suit as he now looks to try and make his stop. So eyes turn to Richard Worth, who's got to put in a boatload of worth of time. And you look then to Irunam in the 078, currently heading himself to turn number 9 out on circuit, the long left-hander at 120 kilometers an hour back up onto the hill. Irunam has got to have the magical lap times that we know he can. He did a 51.8 out lap. That's not bad at all from his standards, but eyes to Schwenke, who's hit his box. Eyes to Kanchin, who's hit his box, as they will both look to come out. Expect Schwenke to jump first, and Travis Schwenke does, and he gets out ahead of the driver of what is Sonny Kanchin, who's only 2 seconds back. But here's Irunam. He's going to get Kanchin. He's not going to get Travis Schwenke here as he dives onto the brakes. No, there's contact between the pair of them, and Schwenke is forced out of the way.
So look at this. That's Num right there as he makes the pass on Schwenke, but look right behind him. That's Sonny Kanchin. He is there, boys and girls.
He is there. So now, where is Richard Worth? The answer is diving down onto the lane. This is crucial then. Richard Worth, the rookie here, debut season in MWT. Has he got the best stop then to stave off the challenges of Norman Kanchin, the two champions that they both are, and Travis Schwenke, Dory, the pretender, as things go on. Gene Fiddis stays out and will inherit the race lead overall, and that's nice to see of Gene Fiddis going in, but all eyes turn to Richard Worth.
We'll see how this plays out as Worth is in his box right now. Sonny Kanchin, 2 seconds faster than Errol Num in the box. There's no way that Catch Me If You Can't took enough fuel.
You said that every single time, Soup, and you'd be proved wrong.
It's impossible.
No, it's implausible. It is possible, but here comes Irunam down the straight. Worth is out, but is he away? No, he's not. No. Nom's through, and through goes Kanchin, through goes Schwenke. He's been jumped by the lot. Richard Worth, time to put your money where your mouth is, mate. You've got to try and get past all of them now.
Almost 17 seconds for Richard Worth. He was crushed on his pit stop time. Got to pay those pit crew more.
Oh, And well, let's look at a replay then that is going on here. And this one is going to be what happened between Nom and Travis Schwenke here. That was coming out of pit road in towards turn number 1. Nom was the first driver to make the pit. He comes out, he gets past one driver, he hits the brakes and panics because it was an early brake, maybe slightly. He just pushes the Asprey car out of the way and says, time to get on going. Irunam, that's a little bit of a naughty one there. You've got to be careful about things like that happening. On the lane now comes Derek Holland. On the lane comes Lorne Murray as those two decide to make their first and only stops of the race.
If I were defense attorney for Aeronum, I would claim that Schwenke was not up to speed. Come out of pit lane, that's why he got bumped. He shouldn't have been there. If I was Schwenke, I'd say, I had that car up full, I got punted. It'd be fun to see what the IRT says. But right now, Num up in front by 0.7 of a second on Sonny Kanchin. Kanchin's worry is, does he have enough fuel? He has to stay close enough to suck behind Num.
Well, he certainly does, and I wonder if Joe Peak behind the cameras wants to play the role of Judge Judy. I'm not quite too sure on whether that would be the case, but Schwenke into the back of Sonny Kanchin, who's a little slow and a little meandering through turn number 3. So that was Sonny Kanchin, maybe just getting the hurry-up warning from his teammate. Maybe Travis Schwenke thinks he can win this one. I don't care about the championship. I want to go race.
Look at that one. It's Kanchin racing in 5th. All the Kiwis right now are yelling at GSRC to put the camera on the leader. It is Gene Fittis. Gene, yeah, you have another stop to make, but nevertheless, congratulations. Top 3 cars still yet to pit. Rafael Drazis and Lauren Murray as well.
Yes, and well, you can see Law Murray has actually just come out of made his stop, so Law Murray will be looking to get away. Jurt Willemsen has not made his stop yet, and those drivers who all started 12th, 13th and 14th, you can see the differences in time between them. Gene Fittis has brought 16 seconds on top of Jurt Willemsen, despite the difference in qualifying being just a sole 0.2 of a second, as Gene Fittis starts lap number 23 of his event right now. But we look a little bit further back then to some of the battles that have been going on. For example, the amateur category. Stephen Van Opstal has 1 position and now has himself about 4 seconds to get to Gianni Quintelier. This is a nightmare scenario for Van Opstal. He knows he's got to start making positions.
He races in 11th. You got Raffi ahead of him. He's got Quintelier. Quintelier has got to be happy, though, with what's going on. He is Sarah Dove is yet to come in. She's still our top amateur, as is Willemsen. A few guys haven't come in yet. Quintelier basically the overall winner in that category. Van Opstal, though, in 2nd.
Yeah, and you're seeing here a few drivers then thinking about it, but I think that drivers like Fittis and Drajas, they're going to go all the way to lap 26, and going out long is sometimes the best ploy, because it means that you're sort of hoping for a gap to open up. If they get that gap to open up around about the Bay State Hammer, I think they can be all right, Gene Fittis especially.
Jake, let's quickly go to 4th, and let's talk about how I think this is really going to play out. Our 4th place, I think our leader, once everybody comes into the pits, that's Errol Num. Now then you got Sonny Kanchin back there, happy in 2nd, saving fuel.
Oh, watch out! He's gone straight on, and Sonny Kanchin gets another Christmas gift. And it's very much anything you can do, I can do it better, says Iru Nom. Here comes Travis Schwenke to the outside at 3, but he's got no room to make that happen as he tries the up and under. That, Soup, is a gift.
There you go. I'm not sure why he wants... I'm not sure if that's really the best thing for Sonny right now to have.
Well, that's the question. As the replay is on screen, you can see it's exactly the same to Sonny Kanchin. 2 tyres out in the alfalfa, and the Team Bushfink racing machine has to check up, has to lose the position, and ultimately loses the net race lead as things stands. And well, the pressure was applied, and Sonny Kanchin's recovery is classed as complete. Drajas down onto the lane, Fittis down onto the lane, Jurt Willemsen, he's gone as far as his legs can carry him. He's also onto the lane. Sonny Kanchin will re-inherit the race lead.
All right, if Sonny Kanchin can do this, then I give up. I may look for other employment. There is no way that he can have that off, have to race so hard to catch back up, have a short pit stop, find his way back up to the front, and then not even have to be in the tow right now. No way, as he works his way around the lap car, that blue machine out there, that is Dankirk, yeah.
And Schwenke is through into 2nd position. Iru Nom did not have the best of runs coming out to the final corner. Asbury Motorsports 1-2 as things stand, and Iru Nom will be feeling very, very frustrated in his Bushfink machine. He needs to make those positions. He knows that Travis Schwenke right now, you could argue, is quicker, and Iru Nom on a 1:16.3 on that last lap has had the mother of all shockers of laps, because he's seen Kanchin with a 14.6, Schwenke with a 15.1, and he knows he's not got much to fight back with. Fittis came out to pit road, though, by the way. He's come out behind Van Opstal. That's brilliant for him overall, because that will push him up somewhere, I'd say, about position number 8 for Fittis, and that's a great drive. Before we go to our Evil Nest Tavern back marker review, I really think Kanchin is going to be happy if Travis Schwenke can get around him, and Arrow and Sonny can go ahead, get in the toll, save a little fuel. That lap car getting out of the way, that is the Sheriff, Jordy Fike. Good job from him. Well, that's as good a time as any, Soup. Back marker report, that was Jordy Fike.
Let's do it. We like to do it from the cars that are last on the lead lap, and let's talk about the driver in 17th. Jordy Fikey just got past. We'll let that qualify, Jordy. He started in 9th position. He has fallen back some. He got into some early problems, but still out there racing. How about up to the driver in, what would be, where are we going, 15th? That's going to be Joe McDonald. Joe all by himself. He's got about 1.2 seconds before he gets up to Jeroen Ursum. Remember, Ursum and McDonald were in that battle. Ursum has the best of it after the pit stops. Then we got to go up quite a distance. I thought it was going to be Sarah Dove, but I guess it's going to be Jupe Vilmanson. I'm not sure where's Sarah. Something must have. Oh, Jupe coming in one more time. That's probably shorted himself. Let me see if I can see what happened. Nope, my timing and score is already done. So he's going to be passed. Let's go up to 12th position then overall. That would be Kip Stevens. Kip's got about 7 seconds to get up to Lauren Murray in 11th position. That's your Egan Less Tavern back marker review. Stop in if you're ever in Green Valley Lake.
Yeah, well, there we go. We always like an Eagle Nest Tavern wrap-up, and that was as good a time. And that's Rafael Drazas off at turn number 9, and that looks like a hefty one because he was heading through 8. He was all right, got caught up on the grass there on the exit, completely went sideways. It snapped back on him and straight into the tyres at turn 9. And Rafael Drazas, the man with many consonants, is out of the event soup.
That's going to give that position, I believe, to Neil Bamber as he picks that up. Bamber now moves up into 9th.
Oh, that's a shame. It didn't look massive, but it was a big incident to have overall. So you have to be careful at situations like that. But this is the question now. Is there team orders here at Asbury Motorsports? Will Travis Schwenke fight his teammate to go for the race victory? That's the question, because we saw with Marcelo Pajnan at Watkins Glen that Pajnan was solely devoted to helping out Sonny Kanchin. Is Travis Schwenke the same sort of character, or are there no team orders? We also saw what was the SCCS opener that Kanchin got turned around by Losper, and there was a lot of sorries coming afterwards, almost too much to fill a Canadian convention.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to follow up on that one. Hey, I've been harping about this fuel mileage, but you got to see the numbers I'm looking at. Kanchin's pit stop, 13.3 seconds. Num's, 15.8. That's in the box. That's how much fuel they take. Worth in there for 16.9. Schwenke in there for 16.1. Sonny is so far ahead of these guys. I'm telling you, there's no way he can get done.
Well, someone should take a look under his bonnet then if you are not a believer at this stage here, Soup. And that's pretty much the story that has been told all season. Sonny is the quickest man on the lane. He saves enough fuel from his driving style, and he does enough to keep people out and away until the end. It may have to take someone like Travis Schwenke to try and copy the driving style of Sonny Kanchin, because if you can be so economical when it comes to your fuel, it's things like just going out into the gravel that starts affecting your time. That's what Travis Schwenke struggled with there on that section. And look at what has happened right now to Iru Nom. He's almost dropped a second.
Yeah, and I agree. If Kanchin was out in front wiring to wiring and just in a nice little rhythm lifting, I could understand how he was saving fuel. But he had to fight that thing. He had to claw back from after that early lap incident. We had to fight back. There's no way he could save fuel. What's interesting, though, is look what happened to Richard Worth. Once he lost touch with the leaders, he's fallen way back to 4th. He's out there all by himself now.
Yeah, he's 6 seconds back then from the race leader. Though, to the 890 of Gene Fiddis, because he's in a scrap for 7th. He's looking to go +7 for his race. And, well, look at who he's got in front of him. There's a Bay State Hammer who may just have to bunt this one. Big dive from Fiddis. He collects up the driver, and he'll sit and wait. Willemsen stops, Dove into the back of Fiddis. They all checked, but I think Gene Fiddis is going to let that one go back then for the Bay State Hammer. He's going to let everybody go through.
Yeah, that looked like a bit of a late dive in there from Fiddis. I don't know if he's... Yeah, boy, they look at what they call presentation. You want to get that car at least up the headlights up at least to the driver helmet when he turns in, and man, I don't know if he got there.
Well, the door was shut, but there was a barrel behind the door, which did not help Gene Fiddis in any stretch of the imagination. He's now lost the position to Neil Bamber because he was playing fair ball and letting back Tom Ratchey through. So Neil Bamber takes a very comfortable 2 positions, and he'll be very happy with that, but there's not long left in this event. Just 8 laps to go, and Iru Nom suddenly is on the fringes of 1 second back from Kanchin and Schwenke. Schwenke now, arguably the man who looks like the favourite to take this race victory if he wants to scrap it out with Sonny Kanchin.
Yeah, this is not going the way that it was looking good for Num right now. He's got to be a little bit worried.
Well, a little bit worried and a lot a bit worried. It's two different things. In comes the base plate hammer. I think that is damage. I think that may be terminal. It could be rear suspension. Could be anything like an exhaust. I think that's the base plate hammer's day, done and dusted.
One of the nicer guys you want to meet, but he is not one to varnish his opinions if he thinks he's been done wrong. Should be interesting to have his comments on this one.
It would be very interesting, but guess who that promotes up another position? Oh, hello, my name's Jeroen Ursum. I'm now plus 11 for the day after starting dead last. There could be a top 10 in store for him.
Ursum would love a top 10. There'd be no living it down. He's got one under his belt. For a long time, he was the answer to the trivia question, who's raced the most MX-5 events, MWT events without a top 10, and it was him. He's got that one now. I'd like to get another one.
Well, another one. He'll be relying on one more incident from one of these drivers, and well, the question may come from the front of the field. It could be Kanchin, Schwenke, or the driver of Iru Nom if they all start getting into each other. But look at that, though. Ursum's going to be the next driver to be lapped upwards towards position 11. Everyone is going to be lapped at this field. That's how strong the pace has been overall. So eyes again on Sonny Kanchin and Travis Schwenke. Schwenke's playing that waiting game, though. He's going to try and set up that run every single time to turn number 1 and 2. That's where he has to make that move and has to get all of the slipstream. And just look at how much more aggressive he was through turn number 9.
They just got around Joe McDonald for 12th as he goes a lap down. Now Ursum coming up as we ride on board over the head of Travis Schwenke, looking up at Sonny Kanchin.
That was a little brush there of the wall there, I think, there from Sonny Kanchin. He's got to be careful about those. And you can see here, already trying to angle that vehicle was Travis Schwenke, but he's not in the tow. He doesn't want to make this move just yet. So that's going to be very telling from Travis Schwenke. Knows there's traffic up in front, doesn't want to start mincing it here. But what that has done is it's allowed Iru Nom right back onto the train because there was no opportunity to really make anything happen. He sat, he waited, he's brought back Bushfink.
Remember, Kanchin was your fastest qualifier, put in a 1:13.4. Num had a 1:13.6, about 2 tenths of a second faster. Travis Schwenke, well, Kanchin was. Travis Schwenke about 3 tenths of a second slower. So your fastest qualifier is out there right now.
Out there and leading, look how wide goes Travis Schwenke. Has to check the vehicle up, and that's going to cost 2 tenths of a second straight up there because he had to back out of it a bit to stop that vehicle from going around the world and around the world again. So that would be what Iru Nom will be hoping for. Mistakes, trying to capitalize on drivers who are starting to struggle in the late stages of this event. And again, as you look through the final corner, Kanchin starts to stretch his legs a little bit. Maybe Schwenke playing that rear gunner to what is Iru Nom. And I think Iru Nom knows he's got to start making moves. They've crossed the line. There's 5 to go at Oran Park in the Ghost Run.
Just a few laps ago, you saw Jeroen Ursum get out of the way, so now McDonald and Ursum have both been passed. Nobody really ahead of these guys now. I think Kanchin should have a pretty clear run. It's a ways before they get to anybody. I'm really feeling that Iru Nom is in the best position here. What Kanchin cannot have happen, Jake, is for him to run out of fuel and get knocked down several positions. Yeah, at least with only 11 cars on the lead lap or 10, it wouldn't crush him too much, but boy, he doesn't want that to happen.
Run out of fuel or make a mistake. Maybe Sonny Kanchin can't afford to make that mistake. That could be the final death knell in the coffin for a driver who arguably you can look up to with drivers like Glenn McGee, look at drivers like Pablo GoPro Lopez as drivers who have made it to the Road to 24 shootout. Talk about another driver who's made it to the Road to 24 shootout who has been a big part of this series, John Deuce Allen, another one of those drivers that he wants to be looking up to, looking to try and be. And with drives like this, championship performances like this, what's to say that Sonny Kanchin is not going to make it to another Road to 24 shootout? and then look to go on and try and make qualification into 1 and 2. They come along again with 4 laps to go, and Schwenke is very much 0.6 of a second back. Never, ever going to be close enough at this stage, but now it relies on Irunom making moves, and they can't afford to fall outside a second of that man at the front.
Conspiracy debunkers have got to be laughing at me right now. A look at Sonny Kanchen's lap times show that he is running relatively the same speed he was running when he was trying to run these guys down. I don't see him lifting at all. I think he's confident.
I think he's confident. Battle though on in the amateur category. Jordi Fike versus Joe McDonald. 1 lap down for 12th and 13th. What a recovery this is from Jordi Fike, who drops right to the back of the field after the opening lap. Was 50 seconds down. He's fought this one back here, looking for 12th position overall and heading through this next section of road. He's close. Close ain't a cigar though.
These guys are 1 lap down, but here comes the sheriff right now, going to duck as they work their way through the chicane. Shoop, shoop. Now up to 12. Let's stay on this a little minute. Let's watch the exit out of 12. This has been the Achilles heel for a lot of drivers. The cars get loose. They slam it into the outside wall. Both of them manage it to be okay. I think, though, that Fike's going to have the momentum. Let's see if he makes the dive down into 1. Come on, boys, get it done. There's a lead battle to watch.
There is, and well, here comes the sheriff, and he may be the only sheriff in town at the moment, but the sheriff, well, the office is closed because he's gone straight across that chicane, or straight across that little kink. He's lucky that he hasn't managed to pick up a slowdown of any sorts there. So Joe McDonald holds on for the moment against the sheriff as he looks to run for the border. But now again, Irunom drops back a little bit. Schwenke closes up a little bit. Now Sonny Kanchin, feel the pressure a little bit more then, son. You know that you've got yourself 2 to go across the line. You've got yourself a shade over 5.1 kilometers to be working with, 5.2 kilometers even. And he knows that it's just 5.2 more kilometers. He's hoping there's that much fuel in the vehicle.
With apologies to the rest of the field, with only 2.5 laps remaining, most of our GSRC focus is going to be up here on the lead now. These guys decide who is going to get the checkered flag.
Yes, and well, that's going to be key because 3 can take it, but only 1 will emerge victorious as they cross the line. And Irunom starting to drop further back. The gap 1.1. Is he now not a factor when it comes to this final challenge between Kanchin and Schwenke? Schwenke deep on the brakes into turn number 1 with 2 to go and thinking about things happening the way that he wants to. Turn 2, my mistake. Now to 3. Kanchin has seemed very good in this mid part of the lap. That has really hurt the driver of Schwenke in the overall because that's another 1/10 of a second going away, Soup. This is Travis Schwenke now starting to falter. This could be Kanchin making it 8 from 10 and almost guaranteeing a title at this stage.
I would think it's done and dusted if he can get this win in right now. I still don't believe it's going to happen. Schwenke, nevertheless, I am working on my resume for McDonald's job application just in case I have to quit GSRC. Errol Num seems that he cannot get there.
No, he can't, but the white flag will soon be up in the air at Oran. The ghost run almost complete. Eyes look to Kanchin, eyes look to Schwenke, eyes look to Nom, and I don't think Travis Schwenke has a chance into the prime overtaking opportunity of turn number 1. They cross the line to start the final lap. The gap between them 4.5 of a second, and Nom drops another 10th back. So Irunom 8 back. I'm not sure he is going to be able to do anything. Schwenke will not be close enough into turn number 2 as it's still Sonny Kanchin, still managing that gap. It's not comfortable. It's never comfortable under a second, but he's just keeping out of harm's way the driver of what is going to be Travis Schwenke. Little bit of traffic is Derek Holland in front, but I think he's too far away unless Holland makes a catastrophic error in the final laps. Up the hill, over the Yokohama Bridge, they will come along for the final time. Into the right, then they come along. These next corners, so crucial for keeping this momentum. Here's turn number 7, out on circuit. Looking then for turn number 8, looking for turn number 9, and Kanchin looks faultless. The fuel looks perfect, and it looks like Soup needs to hand in his P45 in a few moments' time. Final corner for Sonny Kanchin. It was what looked like one hand on the trophy. Now it looks like he may be taking the trophy home back just a few miles here in the AUS, because here comes Kanchin to win at Oran Park. He's 8 from 10 and immaculate as always. Unbelievably, he has done 8 from 10, and after a mistake, holds on to the end. Fantastic work from him. Battle to the line then between Ursum and Jordi Fike. Fike could not get home for 11th position, but a great recovery drive indeed from him. And still, the last of the drivers looking to make it home, as we still have Jacob Toffs 2 laps down, trying to chase down Kip Stevens, the last driver on the leading lap.
Looks like as we look at Toff right there, he's a lap down, I do believe, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
But it's nice to see if he can get there. See what pace he does have as he gets on the brakes for the final corner. No, you're not going to get home, Jacob. Unfortunately, you're not going to beat Stevens to the border, or are you here? Because look at this. Close. Nope, that's still Kip Stevens. So what we're going to do here on the Global Sim Racing channel, we are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, though, we're going to run down what I like to call the post-race show, or as it's called here, Eagle's Nest Tavern wrap-up. So we will see you in just a few moments' time. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Eagle's Nest Tavern wrap-up show. Green Valley Lake is the best kept secret in Southern California's San Bernardino Mountains. Whilst visiting, stop into the Eagle's Nest Tavern for a hot meal and a cold drink. They're on Facebook. And so, with Oran Park perfectly composed and defeated, it is time to run down the official classified results here from the action this evening. And well, it doesn't matter where you go in the world, it doesn't matter how long a race is, and it doesn't matter who you put in the field against him. Sonny Kanchin wins again, half a second this time over teammate Travis Schwenke, and we think that Kanchin may just have a title under his belt. Irunom finishes only third position, dropped off in the final few laps, with Richard Wirth in fourth. Brilliant result for the amateur leader in Gianni Quintelier. Fifth position will be a massive points boost for his championship, with Stephen Van Oopstal in sixth, Neil Bamber in seventh, with Gene Fiddis in eighth position overall. Lord Murray will come home in ninth, with Kip the Hairflick Stevens rounding out the top 10, the final vehicle on the leading lap.
I like when the drivers cooperate and all the lead lap cars finish inside the top 10. I start with all the cars that are one lap down or more, and that's Jeroen Ursum, just missing that top 10 by one spot. He comes home in 11th. Ahead of the Sheriff, Jordy Fike. Jordy qualified 9th, had some trouble, fought his way all the way back up to 12th position. Joe McDonald and Jupe Vilmanson go 13th and 14th. 15th was Sarah Dove. She had an off. She worked her way back up. One lap down in 15th position. George Dankirk and Derek Holland go 16th and 17th. 18th, 19th, and 20th goes to the newcomer Jacob Toffs, Max Wright, and Tom Raccio. The Bay State Hammer had trouble. I'll just round these out, Jake, because it's only two left. I get this one. Raffle Drazes, is that what we're going? You take a shot at that one. Jake, how are we doing that one? Drazas, okay. And Atsushi Maeda had that early lap incident. He's going to finish in last.
Well, last is a little bit mean. 22nd, I think, sounds a little bit more respectful here. But of course, we have a lot of drivers waiting for interview for this one. But first and foremost, I'm going to be very nice for the first time this season. I'm going to give you Sonny Kanchin soup.
Oh, okay. Let's Sonny hit. Sonny, you got to copy. My gosh, you're making me look like an idiot. There's no way that you can make that mistake, falls that far back, race that hard, take that little of fuel, and still win.
Nah. Soup, I did it for you. Glad you enjoyed it. No, not really.
Do you realize your stop was 2 seconds faster in the box, 2 seconds faster than your competition?
Well, I was counting on it, and it counted this time. I'm happy about that. Thanks for 2 seconds. That's what I wanted, and I made up the time there, and that mistake I made in the first, that same thing happened to Hero later on after the pits, and then I took advantage of it.
Working through traffic on the way to get back to the leaders, is it an advantage? Can you pull up behind them and they can make your laps faster, or is it just you'd rather they weren't there at all?
No, not in my sleepless dreams. I mean, I wouldn't even think about, on this track to be able to pass after losing the lead. I mean, you're going down. I mean, I had nothing positive unless I forced myself to be positive. That's what I was wondering. Come on, I got to do something about this. I'm like all over the place. Get back in line, get back in focus, and I don't know how I did it, but I eventually I need to sleep on it, and then I should be able to answer you that how I did it.
Have you made a mistake at that part before? Or was that just lack of concentration that got those right sides off?
It was lack of concentration. I mean, that is a very notorious turn. This turn 1 and 2, and you got to get the rhythm right. I mean, especially if you're going fast, if you're in the lead, and you got to. It was a mistake because I was driving in the mirror too. I was watching who's behind me at the time and fell off, and with much greater consequence than Eero had.
We'll get you out of here on this one. What is your actual sleep schedule? Have you been staying up, or do you get up to do these races? How does that work?
I've been during the weekdays. I work a lot. I work in IT, and sleep is something I have to catch up on the weekend most of the time. So, and last night, no sleep, not much at all. Yeah. So because of MWT, I mean, it brings the vampire mode in me, and I'm happy about that. So the rest of the day, it's still left to catch up on it and watch you guys, and it makes up for everything, honestly.
All right, so I'm looking for any hope, any ray of hope that I have there. Not only are you fast, your pit stops are fast, and you're doing it with no sleep. It's just not fair. Hey, congratulations. We'll see you down the road.
Thank you, Soup. Thank you, and thanks, Jake. Thanks, everyone there.
Not a problem at all.
I don't know what to say. Go ahead. Next person.
You're fired. That's the other one.
No,
let's get Travis Schwenke in, then the teammate who was on the receiving end of arguably one of Sonny Canton's greatest drives. Travis, it looked for all the world that you were going to get a victory this season. It just didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, I was really going for it there. And Sonny picked it up, too. He told me in our private channel afterwards, he could tell, like, with 3 or 4 to go, I was really trying. And, it's just so hard to pass here. I needed him to open the door a little bit, just make another little mistake, which, Sonny doesn't make a lot of them. So just couldn't get it. But I gave it my all. I'm now sweaty and need a shower.
Well, that's true. That certainly is very, very true when it gets right down to it. But, of course, Travis, you were up in that battle all the time. You had Richard Worth that you were really harrying, especially in the pit stop window, knowing Iru came into play. And then let's talk about what happened coming out of pit road, because that was the moment that really started to make people think that there was a lot more at stake.
Yeah, I know those two are definitely fighting for their positions, and I wasn't going to do anything stupid to mess that up. And I practiced coming out of the pit there and knew where my break point was. I thought I had it pretty nailed, and I wasn't really expecting. I saw in the mirror, thankfully, at the last second that Ira was pushing inside, so I just kind of let the hit happen and then tried to ride it out, and thankfully didn't spin, because that would have put me way far back, but was able to kind of just slide through it and then get going again. But I said, okay, I did the right thing before the pits, right? I knew that I had a little gap to Worth, so I wanted to catch that up. Which I did, and then pit as soon as I caught up to him. And the lap before, he stayed toward the pit lane, so I thought he was going in, and he didn't. So I stayed out one more lap and then made the pit.
Well, that certainly seemed to be good for you, but of course you're starting to find a rich vein of form as you head to Zandvoort. This one may just be the one that is going to be, very interesting, a very technical circuit like Oran Park. Do you feel that maybe you're going to put yourself in a good position for this one as well, knowing there are very similar characteristics between the circuits?
Yeah, I'll definitely try it. You're right. They drive very similar. There's something about this track that I just really love. I love the flow of it, and it never kind of stops. And Zandvoort has a couple little stops, but I like it too. So we'll see what happens. I'll definitely give it my best. Any
shout outs to sponsors before we let you loose?
I'll just shout out to first of all to Richard Losbury, our AMS leader. He's a bit under the weather, and we're all pulling for him, and wish him getting well soon. And then my personal BSI Racing, I give a shout out to them, and hope all going well in Florida for them.
Well, all the best there. Travis Schwenke there joining us, second position overall. But very quickly, before we talk to our amateur winner, Soup, you got your best friend back.
Yeah, let me go ahead and talk to Sarah Dove. We saw her yesterday in the AOR event, and then here today as well. Sarah, let's talk about the first lap, corner number 1 and 2 there. You got to load up, pretty much park the car on the track to let all the traffic clear in front of you.
Yeah, there was a bit of a kerfuffle. Luckily, I didn't get hit, and I didn't hit anyone, and I made it through.
Then you had yourself a self spin there. Took a little tour of the grass.
Yeah, it kind of went downhill from there. I spun, and then I got a 15-second hold penalty for speeding in the pits, because for some reason I thought it was 37 miles per hour instead of 31. Yes. And then I crashed into Jean.
Yeah, it was not one you're going to remember. What about this track? Have you raced here before? It's not a very popular track. Do you like this place?
I've never raced here before, and I think I might again because it's hilarious.
You wouldn't want to put the Formula Renault 2.0 out here, huh?
I would. That's because I'm crazy.
Yeah, that's your attitude. Hey, congratulations. Thanks for showing up. Qualified 15th, brought it home in 15th. I guess it's an average performance for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Sarah. We'll see you next time. Sarah Dove. Okay, Jake, who you got?
Well, I got two people, actually, so we're going to do a little double-header interview. Hopefully this is going to work. We've got Gianni Quintelier and Jacob Tofts. Gianni will come and talk to you first, because for your amateur category championship lead, this has been arguably the greatest race that you've hoped for. Do we have a copy? Yes? No? Okay, we'll talk to Jacob then. Jacob, a good race for you as well.
Yeah.
Look, we got Gianni, finally.
Yeah, hello.
Gianni has come
Hello?
to GSRC. Yes, we've got you loud and clear, Gianni.
Yeah.
Your race, it was fantastic for you.
Yeah, you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, but I can't hear you guys. I can only hear you on the YouTube channel. I can't hear you here. So we're gonna do the interview next time. I hope I get it right then.
Okay, not to worry then. So Gianni then going to step aside with Jacob as well. Jacob, can you hear? See? No? Nope. Not going to happen then for us then, Soup. Unfortunate that, but next time it will have to be for us then when it gets to an overall. So in the end, that unfortunately is going to be a very janky way to shut up the shop then this evening. But of course, where would we be without the fans who have been watching this, to all the drivers and all the teams of the Quality Racing Syndicate for organising this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it? We'd like to offer our thanks. Our thanks also have to go to Heusinkveld. Affordable simulator software and hardware are thought to be of limited use for race teams and drivers, but their simulation solutions bring professional results within reach for any team or driver, without having to compromise, of course, on realism or engineering value. They offer a broad array of products and services such as vehicle simulation software and hardware. They are able to, get some words out, simulate any combination of race car and track, including a full-fledged cockpit environment with unparalleled realism. Heusinkveld solutions are currently being used by professional teams and drivers in Formula Ford, GP3, GP2, and Formula 1. Now, these products are available for any professional team or driver looking for an edge in racing. Be a better race car driver and get in touch today. Our thanks also have to go to the folks at Tidal Influence and Eagle's Nest Tavern, and our thanks also have to go to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on our broadcast. And of course, the original music you've heard today on this broadcast is thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen below how to contact each of them.
Jake, I'm always trying to improve my vocabulary. What was that word you used to describe the interview? Janky? Janky? A janky way to close it up? Is that what I heard? Okay. I'm going to put that in there, start using that one now. Hey, I may use it next broadcast. You know when that's going to be? And this event is going to be in 2 weeks. And that's going to be the last event before the double distance, double points grand finale. So we're talking about race 11, January 20th. The track will be, well, it's the track of the dunes. It's Zandvoort. GSRC will be there. We hope you come and watch all the action with us. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, who is not a janky broadcast company at all, the best bet is GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel.
And finally, on behalf of the man on my right, Bill Subzan, the man behind the desk, our director, Joe Peake, and a man who some say may not even exist at all and transcends the ethereal realm, our camera guru, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank you all for watching. So until next time... Wait, Dougie, what are you doing with that camera?